that was another story. There, we were sitting up there. What was the name of that beach?
Corey
Beach. We'd heard that the Japs were fixing to come up there, so they sent the 1st Battalion up there and a company of raiders up there. We went up there, left our base at about 12 o'clock, and it was 12 miles up the island. And when we invaded it during the night, we waited until it began to get light. Well, there was a Japanese officer came in, walked into the group. I didn't see him because I was out on the flank. But it was a Japanese officer. He came down there hollering instructions and everything. And he didn't know it was Marines that had come ashore. He thought it was because they were building up to invade that area where we were building the airstrips, you know. And so they shot him dead right there, and then all hell broke loose because we were outnumbered 10-1. And when I finished with doing my job and hurting that little girl, well, I ran to catch up with the bunch, you know. Well, the first guy I caught up with was Whitey Maines, and he was in my company and everything. So we went on up there, and we was on the very end of the flank there. And we both had Johnson rifles, and that's all we had to protect that flank with. And that's the weak part of the line. And Hall came up there, I'd say about 9 or 10 o'clock. He said, what are y'all doing down here? You're supposed to be up there with us. And they'd gone on up there, and we worked B Company. We were with B Company, and A Company was in the middle of the group, you know. And so he just said, well, stay here, and I'll get an A4 down here to protect this flank. You know, the flank is a weak point on the line. Said, y'all protect it. Well, it was a coconut grove that we hit into, and they had a road behind that coconut grove. And those Japs were using that to haul material up there to invade that airstrip. And so here, Whitey and I were on the flank there, and that's where we were protected. Well, they began to send planes down there. They were strafing that road that we were strung out along, you know. And those planes were coming hard and fast. If they hadn't come up there to protect us, they'd have wiped us out because there's a whole regiment of Japs there fixing to invade that deal right there. And those planes were coming just one after another. And they didn't even bother to put up their landing gears. They just left them down and would come along strafe, and they would drop bombs along the way. And we were on the very end. We were afraid they was going to start their shooting before they got to. We'd get out there and wave at them right there, and they'd go by us and wave at us and start strafing. And we were there all day long. And the commander down at the air base told them that they're sending up crafts to take us off. And Fagans answered, no, we're not going to be the first Marines to be pushed off of a beach. We were scheduled to be taken off at 7 o'clock, and that's when we will start boarding those boats. So we were there all day long, and it was a long day. And Hall came up there a few times, and we had Johnson rifles. We didn't have the N1 rifle. We had Johnson rifles, a 30 caliber cylinder-fed thing. They didn't use clips in them. And I thought it was the best weapon that I had in the war beside the Nambu. And Hall would bring us ammunition up there, and then he finally come up there late in the afternoon. He said, "You guys make this last because there's we're nearly out of ammunition. And so here we were, and we couldn't do anything till 7 o'clock. So ships, Higgins boats were out there circling, waiting for 7 o'clock, I guess, because then Ott Ferris came up there and he said, now we're going to be taking off, and we'll start at 7 o'clock, and that's about an hour and a half from now. And the guys next to you, they're in Company B now because of the mix-up, Whitey Maines and I was involved in. Well, anyway, Ott Ferris told us, said, when these guys over here, they're going to leave, and when they leave, they're going to holler and let you know that they're leaving. You count to 50 as fast as you can and then get down to the beach. Okay, so we sit there, we hear these boats coming in and taking off and shooting and everything on it right there. I said, Whitey, gosh, what time is it? We should be getting out of here and everything. And Whitey said, hollered over at those other guys right there, and they didn't answer us. So I walked over there. They'd already left and didn't call it out. So here we were, only 2 guys left on the beach, I guess, and we started running. Well, I was pretty fast, so I took Whitey's Johnson rifle, and I carried both of them down there, and I still beat him down to the to the Higgins boat. Well, it wasn't a Higgins boat. It was a
LCVP.
It was what?
LCVP.
LCVT. It's heavier than a Higgins boat, and it's all steel right there. So here we are running down there and hollering, don't leave, and everything. Well, Ott Ferris was on the deck, and the ramp on that LSV was at about a 45-degree angle, because that was taking shots from the Japs. And Ott Ferris stayed down there. Captain Hayes, he's a captain by this time, he was trying to hold us up and everything, and Fagan was on that boat. And this little coxswain on the thing right there said, we're moving out right there. We're leaving right there. Fagan said he fought his way through those guys down there and put that pistol in that kid's hand. I said, put this back on and blow your bleep head off. So he put it back on there. And the guys that are around there, they was telling us about what happened. And so here we are running and so forth. And I got down there, and Ott Ferris took those 2 rifles and threw them up there into the boat, and Hall got them to lower it a little bit right there, and then Ott Ferris took us by our foot, and heaved us up there, and Hall pulled us on the end, and I got up there and here old Whitey Maines finally got there, and that's how we got off the island. And,
but you held the line until 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
As you were ordered.
Yeah. Yeah. It took about 30 to 40 minutes, I guess, to get everybody off there, and we were the last 2 to get off the island. And I'd been on the beach before at night, and I didn't want to be on the beach again in Japanese territory.